To the last segment, the interesting one, which is heart to heart. And I have tremendous pleasure in welcoming architect Samar Ramachandra. Let's take a look at what he has achieved. Samar graduated B.Arch honors from IIT Kharagpur. Samar Ramachandra Associates was established by him in 1996, and they've done, I need not even mention, hundreds of projects. He presently heads a design build firm called SRE Build and an architectural educational initiative called SRE EDU. Both you may want to get in touch with Samar for. He co-founded Reboot Escorted Tours, which is an education travel program where he mentors traveling architects in various tours in India and abroad. He is currently a member board of studies JNAFAU in Hyderabad. He was a council member of the IIA Telangana chapter and presently also the design chair SVCA Hyderabad. Samar and I it was a privilege to talk to him. We had a really candid heart to heart. And all my lovely student friends, there's design, there's products, there's building products, there's technologies, there's everything. But then there is this. And that regards ethics and professionalism is what Sam is going to talk about. Hi, Samar. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you.
And it's really wonderful to have you here because what you're going to share with us is something which is straight out of the books and yet it's buried in it. Okay, so without any delay, crossing the line. What is crossing the line?
Crossing the line of ethics, crossing the line of professional behavior is not something that comes from outside. I think it comes from inside. You could always have something which is as simple as saying, do not advertise yourself, do not put in a signboard which is larger than life and something very mundane as that. And you could do it and nobody's going to come and carry you away, right? But where do you know that your marketing is not becoming vulgar? Who will tell you? When do you know that the client wants you to completely cover up the entire front yard area or even probably the pavement in front of your thing, and because he's paying you and he's encouraging you to do that, you would say, yeah, sounds like a good idea for you, but I don't think it will work. How do you know that? How do you know that you are not crossing the line or crossing the line when you do? I think the pit of your stomach, it's in the gut. There are things that you know that are a part of your holistic knowledge. You know that your concern is not the client and your concern is not the money you take home. Your concern is not about the amount of square footage which multiplies itself into a factor for fees or factor for fame. I have done so many lakhs of square feet or I've done something which is made out of platinum or gold is definitely a good marketing strategy, but there is something that stops you and tells you that is not all what an architecture is about. We have not taken the Hippocratic oath in architecture. And that remains to me a very sore point, that at no point where we stopped, at no point did anybody ask us to say, hey, this is your license, but have you taken any vows? Crossing the line is that unspoken vows that you have taken within your own soul. And you want to keep it, and you don't want to cross it. I think there it is in all, and there it is in completion. Tell me, Samar, I'm right now going to think like a final year student exiting college and entering a professional career. And I say that, look, there are codes, there are written codes, and as long as one follows that, is that not what is expected? What is expected? What is expected is, of course, to follow the building codes, the regulations codes, the codes of the community. But what is beyond expected is what makes you a professional, actually. Sticking to line is something that you have been conditioned to do since childhood. That's been a part of our education system, unfortunately. But no system can inspire you. No system can make you a professional if you do not take professionality to a level where you are able to give more or give values that cannot be put into a bullet point, into integrity, which comes by combining what you have learned and what has been intended to what can be and what should be. These are things that cannot come under building codes. Okay, if they do, they come under a very limited role. So creating happiness is not a part of a code. Make good buildings, but can you make buildings which give people joy? Cannot be put under a code. Therefore, can you make buildings which can make people miserable, although it can follow all the rules of all the codes? Yes, you possibly can. You can make a very mundane or a very sad or a very containing, controlling kind of a design and still be within the box. So for a final year student or a student who's just passing out, possibly this looks like a lot of high talk because it says, hey, I can only deal with what I know, and what I know is not to. But I think unless you inspire yourself and you grow into that, you realize that you have remained somebody who's not explored what goodness is, who's not taken goodness to a level which is not about you or about the client, but it is about a larger picture. That greatness is not about you getting plastered all over, the media, but greatness is about that little feeling when you know that you've gone beyond the call of duty, unnoticed, unknown possibly, but still done something good for the planet. For a young architect, this might look like something that may not be relevant at that point, but I'm sure, and I can tell you with my own experience, that someday, a decade or two later, you will turn back and say, it's good that I did a little bit of more than goodness to whenever I was called for. And that, I think, is what I can share with them at this point.
So there is this paradox in what I'm hearing from you. What the profession trains you to do is virtually permanence. It's something you're leaving behind, a built structure which could last through decades and hopefully centuries if you're good at it. And on the other hand, your behavior itself is very amorphous. It's something which there isn't anyone who's putting you under scrutiny. It's not something you can touch and feel. It's a feeling. It's something from within. So how do the two dance together?
In fact, I would argue against this. I think the buildings that we build today are no longer going to be permanent. Nobody's going to build a Taj Mahal again. I have seen in my own profession the buildings or the designs I've done being brought down. It's not a very good thing for an architect to see because it has done its time. We are in an extremely dynamic phase. What you do today is not relevant, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, for sure. The buildings will be redesigned. The buildings will probably be moved. The stores will be closed. No, we are not going to build a legacy where our permanence is in the built structure. Our legacy is about what we are. I think that is more permanent. The other day I was in Vijayawada, and then I was with a person. I had some time, and then he was speaking about the general body of architects, and I was not happy the way he was addressing this whole body. He says, but I know architects are so and so, they are all compromised. And then he said, but architects, do not put that kind of effort. And then every time he would meet my eye, he would say, I know, but there are some people who don't. So I'm saying it's not about me. It's about the way the entire profession is being dragged into the quagmire of being corrupt, of being mediocre, of being people who are always wanting. And that is the legacy that we leave. And that is the sadness. So I think we invest in something which is actually more permanent than the structures that we supposedly think are permanent when we walk the line of ethics, when we walk the line of professional values. I feel very forceful about that.
And Samar, what a final thought on this?
Yes.
So compromise, which leads to some degree of temporary control,
right,
in one's mind that I managed to contain the situation.
Right.
Is that the only way to go, or is there something beyond, and you've experienced it in your life, and it is possible. Tell us.
I would be impractical if I say I have never compromised on a want which went which went against what I would have liked to be the perfect situation where it was. But I can also say that I was pushed to, or I was let go, or I was rendered powerless because we are but a tiny part of the system. There are projects that I've lost because I've refused to compromise on the foundations. There was this, hugely successful, it became later on a fairly commercial venture where, there is this bureaucrat who was also in charge of it and was telling me that, I think we can just build up a small resort cottage. We don't need to worry too much about the foundations. And I said, like, you cannot put a structure without the foundational engineering being right. And there are these places where they say, I would like to cover the pavement and I'm, do that, there is this typicality that happens in the upper crest where people put fences outside their gates. And I'm telling them, no, you got to give path for the pavement. You really cannot. But there are times when they've gone ahead and done them. And there are places when I have walked out and there are places when they have slowly ignored me because they said, I'm going to do it anyway. Do I instantly dump them and take them to court? I don't. Is that a compromise? Yes, because I want to get my money home and I just want to, walk my path. But have I fought? Have I raised my voice? Have I made it known that this is not something that I'm happy to do and you're doing it on your own sin? I think that is enough. I think we can be human enough and say that, yes, at least I spoke. And that is very relevant to the youth today. You need to speak. You need to say, I'm all right getting the money. I'm all right that, you're good, but it is all very good. But you know what? I wish you didn't do this because this is not the right thing to do. And based on how seriously you feel about it, take a stand. Take a stand, God damn it. Take a stand. We architects are activists. We are here for a reason. We are not in the trade of tradesmen. We are in the trade where profession overcomes trade. So yes, I think the only way to go is to understand when you're compromising and make some noise about it. Yeah, to the level that you can, honestly.
Some time is short, but this is something which requires a lot more discussion.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave it actually to a student community to do that.
Yes.
And it's something which reminds me of what we spoke yesterday, Ayn Rand's Fountainhead.
Yes.
And John Galt. And I don't know if any of you students have read this book by Ayn Rand, Aynrand. It's worth a read. It's a big tome. Read it. Reflect on what Samar Ramachandra has told us. And I think your profession will be very gainful and we would have done something useful. With that, thank you from the studios. Thank you, Samar, for being with us. And we hope to have you back on the show sometime very soon.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Well, what can I say? Samar, you've been an absolute peach. Your mild manner should never be confused for purposefulness. I've had the pleasure of interacting with you, and I look forward to that lifelong. Thank you very much.